Chair,
Haley.
I move to take from the table the previously tabled motion that our chapter conduct a summer fundraiser.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we take from the table the previously passed motion that our chapter conduct a summer fundraiser. Is there, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. Is there any new business at this time?
Madam Chair,
Haley.
I move that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders and that the chapter pay for their attendance.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders and that the chapter pay for their attendance. Is there any debate?
Madam Chair.
Haley.
I stand in strong favor of this motion. I think it's a great idea to get our chapter officers involved and get them these leadership skills that they're going to need to prepare to be in charge of our chapter and to run it as successfully as we possibly can. So join me in passing this motion.
Madam Chair.
Jillian.
I also stand in favor for this motion. I think this is a great idea for our chapter to go and learn some skills that we need as a chapter. This is a great idea, so join me in voting yes.
Madam Chair. Peyton.
I stand strongly opposed to this motion for the fact that our chapter already has leadership training for our officers as well as an officer retreat where they get even more training. So going to an additional training that we have to pay more money for would really be pointless and a waste of time. So please join me in voting no on this motion.
Madam Chair.
Aiden.
I also stand in opposition of this motion. I feel like it would be very difficult to try and actually get this to happen, considering they're asking the chapter to pay for us to go. There's just a lot of logistics that would need to be worked out. I don't see how this would really benefit us when, like a previous member said, we have many of other leadership opportunities, and I don't think there's any other experience quite as good as the experience you get throughout the school year learning how to be a leader and how to have those proper leadership skills. So I don't see the whole point in going to a leadership conference. So join me in voting no.
Madam Chair,
Allie.
I'm in favor of this motion. I think that this would be a great opportunity for our chapter officers to learn leadership skills, especially with COVID. A lot of these leadership events that we used to have were canceled for the past around 2 years. So this would be a great opportunity for them to go to these events that they might not have been able to go to before. So join me in voting yes on this motion.
Madam Chair,
Aiden.
I move that we divide the question. So the question now states, the first one now states that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders, and the second one states that the chapter pay for their attendance.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we divide the question. So at the first motion now reads, I move that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders, and that the second now reads, I move that the chapter pay for their attendance. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. Now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair.
Peyton.
I move that we postpone this motion indefinitely.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we postpone this motion indefinitely. Is there any debate?
Madam Chair.
Peyton.
As I stated earlier, we already have plenty of leadership opportunities for our officers, and so I strongly believe that this would be a pointless trip for us to make. Therefore, I believe it's best if we just kill this motion right now and maybe move on to other leadership opportunities if we want more opportunities, such as maybe chapter buddies, instead of having to take a whole trip when we already have opportunities at our hands. So please join me in postponing.
Madam Chair.
Aiden.
I stand in opposition of this postponement. I think this, although I do not stand in favor for this motion, I still feel like it's something we should talk about because I think there are very good points that could be made and lots of information we could be informed on so we can make a proper decision. So join me in failing this postponement.
Madam Chair.
Allie.
I'm against this postponement. I think that this is a great idea and that if we want to get this rolling, we need to start now, especially with the concerns about paying for it. And I think this would be a great opportunity for our leaders, so join me in failing this postponement.
Madam Chair.
Haley.
I stand against this postponement as I believe it is an amazing opportunity for our chapter to learn and to grow and to better the chapter as a whole. So postponing this for a whole nother year would just put us in the exact same spot and wouldn't really affect us much. So we might as well start it now to grow this year's chapter and learn from it to the next year's.
Madam Chair.
Jillian.
I also think this postponement is not necessary. We need to get this talked about now and seeing if we can go this year for our next chapter. If we postpone this indefinitely, we won't be able to have this until maybe next year if they decide, but this year would be a great idea for our chapter because they need more leadership before the year starts. Join me in voting yes, or no.
Is there any more debate? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor of postponing this motion indefinitely, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. We now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair,
Ally.
I move that we amend this motion by striking that the chapter pay for their attendance and adding fundraise for the money, so that the motion now reads, I move that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders and we fundraise the money.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we amend this motion by striking chapter pays and inserting fundraise the money. So that the motion now reads, I move that our FFA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders and that to fundraise the money for their attendance. Is there any debate?
Madam Chair.
Ally.
I know there was previous concerns brought up about how the chapter would pay for this, so this kind of takes that out of the question. We can fundraise the money so that we don't have to worry about it, and we are able to take all of our officers so that they can have this great experience. So join me in voting yes.
Madam Chair.
Haley.
I stand against this amendment as we already have lots of fundraisers throughout the year to provide for every other thing that we're able to do. So just adding extra fundraisers would just kind of make us really crowded schedule, and it wouldn't make it possible. So having the chapter pay for it as the funds we have now would just make it a lot easier on us and make it worth it more. So join me in passing this.
Madam Chair.
Jillian.
I think that adding fundraising to this would be a great idea. Our chapter does not have very much money, and if we fundraised it ourselves, it would be a great idea instead of just using our account, which there's not very much in it, and we could go negative. So join me in passing this amendment.
Madam Chair.
Hayden.
I stand strongly opposed to this amendment. In the past, our chapter has not had very much success with fundraisers as a lot of kids forget about them and don't end up raising money. And so if we do try this fundraiser and don't raise enough money, we will have to pay for it ourselves. And even if we do get the fees for the leadership training paid for, there's still gas expenses and hotel. And I think everybody knows right now gas is very expensive. So I think that it would kind of backfire on us. So please join me in voting no for this amendment.
Madam Chair,
Aiden.
I stand in favor of this amendment. I think using fundraising is a good way to show the chapter that you kind of have to work for the things that you want, similarly to what you have to do to win contests. So if we just let the chapter pay for it, I think it doesn't quite give the same understanding as it should, as if we were to have to physically raise money for it to get what we want and show that we will work for the things we do need. So join me in passing this amendment.
Is there any more debate? Seeing none, we proceed to vote. All those in favor of amending this motion by striking chapter pays and inserting fundraise the money. So that the motion now reads, I move that our FA chapter officers attend the state conference for chapter leaders and that we fundraise the money for their attendance. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it, motion passes. Is there any new business?
Madam Chair.
Hayden.
I move that we refer to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair. Chair appoints the chair with the power to report back at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we refer this motion to committee of 3 appointed by the chair. Chair appoints the chair with the power to report back at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Is there any debate?
Madam Chair.
Hayden.
As stated earlier, we already have plenty of leadership opportunities, and so I think by referring to a committee, they can get with a chapter and see who feels like we need more leadership. So please join me in referring to a committee.
Is there any more debate? Seeing none, we proceed to vote. All those in favor of referring this motion to committee of 3 appointed by the chair. Chair appoints the chair with the power to report back at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. We now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair,
Ally.
I move we lay this motion on the table.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we lay this motion on the table. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. We now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair,
Aiden.
I move that we take a 5-minute recess.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we take a 5-minute recess. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we proceed to vote. All those in favor of taking a 5-minute recess, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, motion fails. We now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair.
Peyton.
In conclusion, I I still stand strongly opposed to this motion. I believe it would be a waste of a trip since gas is so expensive, and I don't think we would get the fundraising paid for. So please join me in voting no for this motion.
Madam Chair,
Aiden.
I still stand in favor of this motion. I just think this would be, or stand against this motion, I still think this would just be a lot more difficult than we realize. I just don't see the whole point when we already have our own leadership conferences and things like that. And when we go to state convention, national convention, all these other things, we still get to learn about different leadership skills. I think people just need to really kind of open their eyes and not see it as a trip to take for fun, but as a trip to learn. So if we just didn't pass this and kept focusing on these different events we already have, I think we would learn just as much. So join me in saying no to this motion.
I rise to a question of privilege.
State your question.
It's warm in here. Can I take off my jacket?
No.
I appeal the decision of the chair.
The decision of the chair has been appealed. All those in favor of upholding the decision of the chair, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The ayes have it, the decision of the chair is upheld. Now move back to the main motion.
Madam Chair.
Ally.
I still stand in favor of this motion. I think this is a great opportunity for us to learn leadership, and even though we haven't been able to in the past, this gives us a new opportunity. So join me in voting yes.
Madam Chair,
Haley.
I am still in favor of this motion. I think it's a great opportunity for our chapter, and it specifies that we're just officers going. So it's the officers going to these leadership, these leadership events to better their chapter as a whole, and it's not necessarily everyone. So if we're just able to get the officers to go, they're able to spread that leadership skills to the chapter. So join me in passing this.
Madam Chair.
Jillian.
I think this is a great idea still, especially with the amendment of changing it to fundraising. I think it's a great idea for our kids to learn how to make money and do things that we want to do. So join me in passing this motion.
All those in favor of our FFA chapter officers attending the state conference for chapter leaders and that we fundraise the money to pay for their attendance, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
Ayes have it, motion passes. Is there any new business at this time?
Madam Chair.
Jillian.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion passes, meeting adjourned. Please rise for questions.
Well, congratulations to making it to finals. It's exciting. First, I'm going to open up to the panel of judges if there's any clarifying questions that need to be asked about the demonstration.
So I have a quick question on postpone indefinitely. When chair number 4 was debating, you said that you would pick it back up in a year. Does the postpone indefinitely, does that kill the motion, or does that push it to a year later?
It pushes it to a year later, so you can discuss it in this.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move into individual questions now. My questions are for the chair. 4 questions. You are chairing a meeting and a member appeals a ruling you made. Explain 3 rules related to your rights in debating.
I can give up my position as chair and become a member of the assembly debating. I can turn the appealment to the members and have them weigh over it. I'm not sure on the third.
Okay, thank you. Your next question. During debate on the motion postpone indefinitely, may a member debate the merits of the main motion?
Yes.
What vote is required on the motion to divide the question?
Majority.
Can a primary amendment be amended?
Yes.
Can a secondary amendment be amended?
Yes.
Thank you.
To the individual with appeal, when a member disagrees with a ruling of the chair and stands up and says, "I appeal from the decision of the chair," does that require a second?
No.
If the chair makes a ruling and then 2 more members debate, is the motion to appeal in order?
Not unless the chair decides how it goes.
Can you be more specific?
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. If the chair a ruling, and then 2 more members debate, is the motion to appeal in order?
No.
Last question. When would an appeal not be able to be applied to a ruling by the presiding officer? When would an appeal not be able to be applied to a ruling by the presiding officer?
If the chair doesn't make the decision.
The person with the division of question. Can any motion, main motion, be divided?
Unless it has the word and in it, like if it can be divided into two, it has to be, make sense to be divided into two.
Is the motion amendable?
Yes.
If an amendment to the main motion is pending, can the main motion be divided?
Sorry.
If an amendment to the main motion is pending, can the main motion be divided?
No.
To the individual that postponed indefinitely?
Yes.
Is the motion postponed indefinitely debatable?
Yes.
Explain the difference between postpone indefinitely and postpone indefinitely.
So postpone, definitely postpone the motion until another set time, so maybe at the next meeting. So you can still bring it back up again, but when you postpone it indefinitely, it kills the motion for the entire year, so for the rest of the calendar year, or until the same time of the next calendar year, you cannot talk about it. If the next officer team wants to bring it up, they can again, but this officer team cannot.
Is the motion postponed indefinitely usually made by a member in favor of or against the pending motion?
Against.
The member who had amend,
That was me.
what is the purpose of the subsidiary motion to amend?
To change the motion to make it improved.
Does the adoption of the subsidiary motion to amend adopt the motion being amended?
Can you repeat that?
Does the adoption of the subsidiary motion to amend adopt the motion being amended?
Yes.
Give an example of when the motion to amend cannot be debated.
Recess.
To the individual who had take from the table, if a main motion has been moved, seconded, and restated by the chair, such that the main motion is before the assembly, is the motion take from the table in order? If a tabled main motion was tabled when an amendment and the motion to refer were pending, when that motion is taken from the table, what is the first item of business that must be addressed by the assembly? If a tabled main motion was tabled when an amendment and the motion to refer were pending, when that motion is taken from the table, what is the first item of business that must be addressed by the assembly? Can a motion take from the table be debated?
Thank you all very much. Go ahead and leave your papers on your chairs face down. Anything that you wrote on, go ahead and leave there. No time when we're going to clear those. Thank you very much.
What was our final time? Sorry.
12:22.
Thank you.